What is our fourth main topic today?
All right, well, up next we got Jonathan Spiroff. He writes, "Hey John, WB Chairman Toby Emmerich recently spoke at the Produced By conference saying Godzilla vs. Kong might miss its March 2020 release to deliver an A-plus movie, and that it will deliver for fans in the way they were looking for in King of the Monsters. I'm glad WB are willing to push the movie back to make it better. But considering their history of improving movies in post with Justice League and Suicide Squad, I can't help but be a bit worried. How do you see this panning out?"
All right, so what Jonathan Spiroff is talking about here is that, Roland Emmerich was just, I believe it was the Produced By conference, and he talked a little bit about, now look, let's just call it what it is. Godzilla is coming off of a critically and unfortunately box office, a little underwhelming stuff right now. It was the lowest opening for any, granted it's only the third film in the franchise, but it's coming off as being the lowest opening by quite a bit in the franchise so far. Critics didn't love it. A lot of people enjoyed it. But it's put them in a position that they're not really comfortable with. And Emmerich, he said the following. He says, Warner Brothers Studio Chairman Toby Emmerich recently commented on Godzilla vs. Kong via Deadline. According to Emmerich, the film will deliver for fans in the way they were looking for with Godzilla King of the Monsters. Right there, it's like, so, wait a minute, did the studio chairman just say our Godzilla King of the Monsters did not deliver in the way fans were looking for? I don't know. Anyway, it might come out later in the year so we can deliver an A-plus movie. So wait a minute. Did the studio chairman just say, right now, we did not create an A-plus movie, and we may need to push it back to deliver an A-plus movie? Okay. It sounds like there's a good chance Godzilla vs. Kong won't be released until late 2020. Now, this report is coming from Screen Rant. It's important to understand, so Godzilla vs. Kong, I believe, was supposed to come out in either March or May. So fact checker Jonathan, you might want to look that up. I think it was supposed to come out in March or May of 2020. And now they're saying it might be later in the year. What really caught my attention here wasn't so much the maybe pushing it back a few months, but rather for what it sounds like Emmerich is saying is the motivation behind it. We want to deliver a movie that will deliver for the fans in the way they were looking for in Godzilla versus Godzilla King of the Monsters. So are you saying you knew this film wasn't going to deliver what they needed to deliver before you released it? And then he says, it's going to come out later in the year so we can deliver an A-plus movie. It's like, well, you just recently announced a while ago you're wrapped. Are you acknowledging that the movie you just shot is not an A-plus movie, is not an A-plus effort? And Rob, if that's the case, I'm sitting here and I'm not quite sure how to feel about it. On the one hand, I'm like, wow, kind of refreshing, a studio executive coming out and kind of saying stuff like this. But at the same time, are you not just kind of throwing the director of the movie you've got in theaters right now and the director of the movie you've got coming out next year, did he not just, in one fell swoop, throw both of them under the bus and basically say, while his film is in theaters right now, our movie didn't deliver what the audience was looking for while it's still in theaters and just coming out of its second week? Now, I get it. When you look at the box office results here, Godzilla King of the Monsters took a 67.5% drop from week 1 to week 2, which means people weren't rushing out to see it a second time, nor were they coming out and getting their friends to come with them. So I get it. I understand. It's hit some bumps. It didn't have the box office results you wanted. I get it. It has some bumps. But, and I appreciate, Rob, the idea of a studio exec being open and honest and all that kind of stuff. I like that. That's good. But is the time to do that while your film is still in theaters in just week 2? I don't know. Rob, you hear all this kind of stuff. How do you respond to this?
It wasn't a classy move from my perspective. Look, if you've spent, and filmmakers, and not only that, the actors, the hundreds, if not thousands of people across the world who worked on the visual effects that worked on this movie, you should honor them. Yeah, you might have box office, underperforming, but they oversaw this movie every step of the way. And I think you own what you have released. It wasn't like this movie was mired in reshoots. They knew what they were making. They were proud of it. They thought they had a big hit on their hands. Sometimes they're wrong. And I really like Godzilla King of the Monsters. It's certainly, as somebody who's watched kaiju movies my whole life, I loved it.
I know a number of our viewers actually really liked it as well. Number of our viewers really liked it.
And I think that that this idea that they're not always trying to make an A+ movie, that, you know, we understand. We were just going for a C+ with Godzilla King of the Monsters, but Godzilla versus King Kong, we'll make it A+. It's like, you know, own it. Own what you're making. Don't try and fob off the responsibility on someone else. I mean, this is the studio chose to make this movie. This is the movie that they chose to make. They got the people they wanted to work on the film to make it. It was made with all kinds of love and care, certainly by Mike Doherty. It was done on an A-list level every step of the way. And to sit there and claim anything else is, I think, wrong. And look what you're doing to your production staff of Godzilla vs. Kong.
Yeah.
What does that say to the people that are making your movie right now?
Yeah, that's the thing to me too.
It's not good leadership.
He just threw them under the bus, like almost a year before that movie even ever comes out. Now look, hey, you know what? A year and a half from now, come out and say, hey, we realized in hindsight, maybe we didn't deliver in King of the Monsters. Maybe we didn't deliver exactly what it was the audience was looking for. We realize, but say that a year and a half from now. Like right now, your message should be, if you're thinking you're going to push off Godzilla versus Kong, I think right now, I mean, look, and Warner Brothers knows about spinning false information for PR. They know about, they've done it all the time. So right now, I kind of feel like the message should be, you know what, guys, we're so inspired by the feedback we're getting from our giant movie Godzilla King of the Monsters that it just inspired some creative ideas in our team, and we're going to give them a few extra months to implement some of these fresh ideas they've got. They've really been inspired by it, so we're probably going to push it off. Is it a lie? Sure, but it's the message you send right now because it supports your team, it doesn't throw them under the bus right now, and it doesn't make us look even more negatively than a lot of people are at the current film you got in theaters that's trying to perform, that a whole groups of thousands of people made, and it doesn't throw the people under the bus who are working on the next movie. I just don't get how they didn't think about the messaging here, because while I appreciate the honesty, it's just not the right message to send right now. And I thought it was a mistake. I don't think he's a bad person or anything like that. I just thought strategically it's a mistake at this point. And because, Rob, I'm thinking somebody who maybe Godzilla's only in its second week, as long as we've been talking about it, it's only now starting its third week. There may still be a lot of people out there who were thinking about going to see Godzilla King of the Monsters. Maybe they see something like this and going, oh, the studio doesn't even like their movie. Oh, I don't think I'm going to go now. Like, they kind of shot themselves in the foot here a little bit, didn't they?
I agree. And when they're talking about we're going to make King Kong versus Godzilla an A+ movie, I'm like, an A+ experience. Like, you're not trying to do that now. What are you going to add, a dance number? I mean, what are they going to do? You know, Guardians of the Galaxy had a dance off at the end. What if Godzilla and King Kong step it up and do a little electric boogaloo at the end of the film? I mean, come on, man.
Now you just gave them an idea. I don't know. What do you guys think about the comments that we're hearing? Do you think that these were appropriate comments? What do you think about the idea of them pushing off the Godzilla thing? Give us your thoughts in general. Jump down to the comment section below and let us know what you think.